In this video, we're diving into how Canada's bold warning to halt vital electricity exports could shake up the U.S. energy market and disrupt global trade dynamics. We'll look at the ripple effects on oil shipments, tariff tensions, and political power struggles, revealing how tightly woven our economies really are. Stick around as we unpack every layer of this dramatic standoff. In a surprising twist, Canadian officials have signaled they may drastically cut back or completely halt electricity exports to major U.S. states. States like New York, Michigan, and Minnesota rely on Ontario for nearly 95% of their imported electricity. A sudden cut could lead to skyrocketing energy costs, unstable power grids, and even rolling blackouts during high-demand seasons. Experts warn this isn't just a symbolic threat. It's a calculated response to U.S. tariff measures, using energy as leverage. This bold step reveals just how fragile the energy partnership really is, with possible shockwaves across manufacturing, tech, and more. As Washington scrambles for backup plans, this bold move could push a serious rethink of U.S. energy policy and reshape trade talks across North America. While the electricity drama grabs headlines, Canadian oil remains a vital lifeline in the U.S. energy system. America depends heavily on Canadian crude, with pipelines like Keystone XL and Enbridge carrying the bulk of the load. Currently, the U.S. imports around 6.1 million barrels per day, with about 67% of that coming from Canada, despite rising American tariffs. Now Canada is quietly floating the idea of slashing oil exports, a move that could send global prices soaring. Even a short-term disruption would force industries to turn to more expensive options, affecting everything from gas pumps to factory floors. This strategic play not only shows how connected North American energy markets are, but also how a minor disruption in oil flows can ripple through global economies and policy decisions. The growing trade conflict between the U.S. and Canada has erupted into a full-on tariff war, driven by America. First ideals pushing local manufacturing, the U.S. has placed sweeping tariffs on steel, aluminum, and various consumer goods. Canada, a major supplier of energy, minerals, and tech inputs, is now firing back, with potential restrictions on oil, electricity, and rare earths on the table. These moves are already shaking multiple industries, raising costs, clogging supply chains, and hitting critical sectors like auto manufacturing and energy. The resulting market instability and rising debates over national economic control highlight just how high the stakes have become. Can North America truly strike a balance between protectionism and global interdependence to maintain a stable trade future? Before we dig deeper into this topic, do us a quick favor. Hit that like and subscribe button. This really helps us connect with more car and trade enthusiasts just like you. Let's get back on track and head into the next big idea. Behind the scenes of tariff talks and political back and forth lies a deeply connected economic relationship between the United States and Canada. Many American industries depend on a constant flow of Canadian energy and raw materials, ranging from crude oil and natural gas to critical minerals like cobalt, nickel, and lithium, essential for running factories and powering industries like auto and aerospace. By 2024, U.S. imports of Canadian energy were worth billions, proving that even a global leader like the U.S. can't run alone. Still, this connection is a double-edged sword. While it boosts production, it also brings risks during political standoffs. Any disruption could raise production costs, increase prices for consumers, and hurt America's position in global markets. That's why keeping trade open and stable isn't just good, it's necessary for driving innovation, helping industries grow, and keeping the economy steady. Open trade keeps the engine running. Tariffs and trade battles don't just shake up companies, they affect industries and regular consumers too. The U.S., which relies heavily on energy imports from Canada, like crude oil, gas, and electricity, is exposed to serious risk if that supply chain is disrupted. Even small issues can cause big delays in production, spike operating expenses, and push prices up. This chain reaction can spread throughout the economy, from car factories to everyday services. If one key part is delayed or becomes more expensive, it eventually shows up as higher gas prices or more expensive products on store shelves. In short, every new tariff is like tossing a wrench into the economic engine, slowing things down, feeding inflation, and making life costlier for everyone. Trade is no longer just about economics. It's a high-stakes global strategy game. The United States and Canada are stepping up their moves to protect national interests. America's push to increase domestic production clashes with its tight economic ties to Canada. In response, Canadian leaders are using their strong position in energy and raw material supply to push back. Some of their tactics include threats to reduce electricity exports or limit oil supplies, moves designed to pressure U.S. policymakers by putting stress on America's energy systems and questioning the value of protectionist trade rules. But these aren't just economic strategies. They touch on border safety, tech investments, and even big government contracts. As Canada and the U.S. make bold moves in energy trade and economic diplomacy, other countries, especially emerging economies like Mexico, are observing with keen interest. Why? Because the choices made by these two powerhouses could set off ripple effects across global supply chains, energy markets, and political alliances. These decisions aren't happening in isolation. Each diplomatic maneuver comes with both significant risks and potential rewards. Whether it's about protecting local industries or gaining leverage in future negotiations, these actions are shaping how the world will conduct trade and protect national interests for years, if not decades, to come. In today's hyper-connected world, nothing happens in a vacuum. A single shift in energy exports or tariffs can start a chain reaction. It's not just about the US and Canada anymore. It's a global chessboard. And this global contest is intensifying. Countries are competing for resources, influence, and control over vital trade routes. This rivalry is now a key force in changing the balance of power around the globe. Let's break it down. Costs and consequences, how policy hits your pocket. We've talked about tariffs, energy exports, and political strategies. Now let's bring it closer to home. How does all this affect your everyday life? Disruptions in trade between major partners like the US and Canada can lead to sudden and dramatic changes in prices. Let's say Canada pulls back on electricity exports during a heat wave or winter storm. That would leave American homes and businesses scrambling to find energy elsewhere and likely paying much more for it. Or consider Canadian oil, which plays a major role in US fuel supply. If those imports are reduced, gas prices at the pump could spike overnight. This affects not just personal travel, but also the cost of transporting goods. That means freight costs go up, manufacturing becomes more expensive, and everyday items, from groceries to gadgets, can carry higher price tags. And we're not done. Tariffs on essential raw materials like steel or aluminum make it more expensive to build cars, appliances, and even homes. Tariffs on consumer goods mean you're paying more at checkout. So what's the government to do? Policymakers are stuck in a tough spot. On one hand, they want to protect local industries and workers. On the other, they must face the hard truth. We live in a deeply globalized economy. No nation can afford to go it alone anymore. These shifts in policy don't just impact today's prices. They could shape how stable our economy remains long into the future. It's a delicate balancing act between national interest and global interdependence. Let's take a final look. Charting the future of energy trade. We started this journey with a big question. What happens when Canada and the US shake up their energy relationship? And we've uncovered a lot. From the threat of electricity cutoffs to rising costs at home, from complex supply chains to the geopolitical ripple effects. Energy trade is no longer just a behind-the-scenes policy issue. It's now front and center in how nations assert power and influence. And for regular people like you and me, these moves can have real consequences in our energy bills, in how much we pay at the gas station, and even in the price of a new car. What's clear is that we are entering a new era of global trade and diplomacy, one where energy isn't just about keeping the lights on. It's about power, influence, and strategic control. The stakes are enormous. And the road ahead? It's bound to be as unpredictable as it is fast-paced. So we want to hear from you. Do you think these trade changes could shake up the automotive industry? Are you already feeling the pinch at the pump or in your electricity bills? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We read everyone. If you like this deep dive, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. We've got more videos coming that break down complex issues into real-world impacts that matter to you. Thanks for tuning in and riding with us. Your engagement helps keep our engine running. Until next time, keep your eyes on the road and your mind on the bigger picture.